Harlan. How you doing, Harlan?
Doing awesome. I appreciate being a guest.
Yeah. This is going to be fun. As I told you earlier, you are our third guest, so it's very historical for us. We love having guests now because they know so much more than us, basically. I'm sure Darren will be dropping in during this 15 to 20 minutes, but just to kind of shape the conversation a bit, the title here is Reverse Mortgage Rethink. And, I'm sure there are a lot of people who have preconceived notions of what a reverse mortgage is. You are the national reverse mortgage director for Movement Mortgage, so I'm sure you have heard everything. But, again, talk about the past, what those misconceptions might have been. Where are we now? What are the opportunities? All this stuff. I know you dream of it in your sleep. So I'll just leave it to you at this point.
Well, I kind of do. My wife elbowed me really hard one time several years ago when I was snoring, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I said, "Over 62, 50% equity, still making a mortgage payment." And she said, "All you think about is reverse mortgages." And yeah, so I do sleep about it. I think about it in my sleep, Joe, no question about it. Because 20 years ago, I told people to stay away from these things. They're a ripoff. They screw the old people and hurt the kids. And I just said that automatically to everybody. And pretty soon people start believing me, even though I was very incorrect. And that's sad. Fortunately, I got to most of those people. I told them I was wrong. But I was looking at the old reverse mortgage, which really wasn't a mortgage. It was an investor. And half of your people that were watching this, as soon as they saw the two words reverse mortgage, hung up. So I should have told you not to bring that up, but because they just said, "Oh, those are bad. I don't want to hear about those." But reverse mortgages have a 95% absolutely positive, high positive consumer reaction with people that have them. So once people get them, they say, "Wow, this is cool." And they tell their friends about it. And so the issue is that I didn't understand that this is not something where you give up ownership. That's the old reverse mortgage. You lost ownership and the investor came in and took advantage of old people. That's not this deal. This is an FHA product, most of them are FHA products, or they're federally regulated one way or the other. And you do not give up ownership of your house. You still own the house, and it's simply a magic wand that we wave over your house and allow you to be able to use some of the money in your house. That's really all that we do. And so people have built up a lot of equity in their house. I just talked to somebody the other day in California, and I said, I think that it would make a lot of sense for you to kind of enjoy some of the things that you're doing because you're kind of rich. You're a millionaire. And they said, "No, we're not. We just told you we only got 100 grand left in our IRA." I said, "You just told me your house is worth 1.5 and you owe 200. So you're a millionaire." But they had no way of using it and they weren't having fun. They didn't know where they're going to get 50 grand to fix their roof or when they were going to go on vacation and how they're going to get Christmas presents for their grandkids. And because they didn't realize that there was a whole bunch of money sitting in their living room and they had no access to it. So that's really where people just, I read a book a long time ago called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And that's why it's really cool that you put Rethink down here, because people need to rethink reverse mortgages and how it fits into your retirement plan. They've got Social Security in their retirement plan. They have 401ks and IRAs in their retirement plan, Medicare. Why don't they put their house, which is one of their most valuable assets, into their retirement plan? And that's really what it comes down to, is being able to use all of that equity, all of that wealth, because you guys tell people, if you get into real estate, you can build wealth through real estate. Everybody knows that. Well, if I build up $1 million worth of equity and I can't use it, what kind of wealth is that?
Right.
And Darren appears.
How you doing, Darren? How did it go over there?
It went fine. It went fine. Had the property site that they don't officially own yet, but will own soon.
Yes. I was explaining that.
I want to make sure the current owner doesn't absorb the liability of them being there.
Yeah. All right.
So, Gosh, can you give me a quick update on where you're at and where you started?
Well, we just started. He gave an introduction of the misconceptions. And I explained to him earlier, two of the things that you were really picked with was that this is not necessarily an old person's choice. This is could be somebody 55 plus, uh, and that you could use this as a purchase option. So I explained that to him, but I was kind of just letting him roll. I said, "Give us the past, the present, and the future." So
Yeah, about that, the option to buy and then sell after.
Yeah, let's talk about a purchase situation because that is
Mm.
the thing that very few people understand and certainly relates to people that would be listening to your real estate show because they'd be listening to it because they're kind of thinking maybe I should sell, maybe I should buy, well, what should I do?
Right.
And there are millions of people. There's about 50 million of us right now. By 2030, there's going to be 70 million of us old people over 62. And I've got a reverse mortgage. I'm only 63. I have a reverse mortgage and I bought a nicer house because I got a reverse mortgage. And I get this statement every month and it says, this is not a bill. You know how cool it is to owe 517,000 and it's not a bill? I mean, a lot of people like that. So I was able to buy a nicer, more expensive house that I put less money into because I had a reverse mortgage. Does that hurt my kids? No, because actually I have a nicer house, which will go up in value more than the other one. And so there's all kinds of people. In fact, according to the National Association of Realtors and the U.S. Census Bureau, 90% of people my age are in the wrong house and they cannot age in place. And if they ended up having a health problem and needed to come home in a wheelchair, they could not come home and they'd have to go to a nursing home. You know how many people want to go to a nursing home? Not very many. They want to come home to their home.
Exact scenario, yeah, with a client, and I felt really bad for him and mindset of the reverse mortgage. I tried to connect him, and that's why we want to change the perceptions of what this means. You know, going to lose your house. It's still there. It still exists in the world around this product. And, along with it, what always gets me, where I try to appeal to them, is to their parents: live your life to the fullest, spend all the money you want, whatever. That's the negative there. You start building a mortgage, but you're living a more comfortable life into your later years where you want to be. And the kids get a little less money and the house isn't taken. You have a time to sell it, or you have.
Yeah, we don't. That's a good point. We don't show up at the funeral. I mean, people have a year to deal with it after their parents die. So it's not like we come to the funeral. Hey, you owe us 400,000, pay up. But the issue is that it's not only about a better life; it's also about a safer life. And what people don't realize is that people like me that do a reverse mortgage early in life actually end up giving their kids more while they're alive and after they're dead because they're not trying to pay off a house and have all their money tied up in a house. And so they still own the house, but because there's no payment, it's still there. So let me give you an example right there in California. I work nationally, but just last week, there was a client who said, I do not want to list my house because we have a 3% mortgage. And we've got a $600,000 3% mortgage on our $1.5 million house. And we don't want to sell because we'll never get a mortgage rate like that again. And I said, well, just a minute. Is this a house you want to be in? No, we've got $100,000 worth of deferred maintenance at least. And it's a 3-level house. We could never, we can't really age in place here. But hey, the payment's only $2,700. So we want to stay here. And I said, well, just a minute. How much will you come out of? Let's take a look. And so we did this together with the real estate agent and said, okay, you're going to come out with about $750,000 when everything is said and done and capital gains taxes are paid and so on, if you sell your $1.5 million house. And he said, I know that, but then we go to the desert, to Palm Desert, to a 55 plus community where we want to live. And the house that we want there is $1 million. So what do we do then? Now we've got to get a $300,000 mortgage because we got to spend $100,000 to move and buy furniture and everything else for the new house. So, now we got a $300,000 mortgage at 7%. It's going to cost more than our 6%, our 3% mortgage that we have right now. I said, hold on just a minute. I'll give you a mortgage that has an optional payment that you don't have to pay. In fact, the payment will be zero, not $2,700, not $2,000, not even $1,500. It's zero. And so you can sell your house for 1.5, buy the house for $1 million in the 55 plus community. Your payment goes to zero. You're already making $4,000 a month in Social Security. you're good. And you have a zero payment. If you want to quit your jobs at 70 and 72, you can quit your jobs. All we did is come in with but roughly a $300,000 after they paid the $650. We came in with a $350,000 mortgage that they never have to make payments on for the rest of their life. They'll get some tax deductions along the way if they do wish to make payments, and they can spend more money on their kids and their grandkids. Travel. They want to travel. They're going to be in the desert. They want to travel the 3 months that are the hottest, and enjoy life and go visit the kids and the grandkids around the country. Completely change their lives because they weren't concerned about the percentage. They were concerned about the zero payment, because that's what's changing their life. And here's where it goes further. If he dies first, his wife can afford to stay in the house because she doesn't have a payment. And even though the Social Security will go down with him gone, she'll be able to still afford to stay in the house and enjoy the rest of her life without having to worry about whether or not she has to move to some assisted living or apartment somewhere. This is something that there's millions of us that need to go through that same thought process. We're in the wrong house and we need to list our house. There's a problem with inventory. People can't buy houses because there's not enough people my age that are moving out of the house that they shouldn't be in, moving to a 55 plus community. The house that I live in, all on one floor, this isn't a young person's house. We sold the house to some young people that are raising their kids, our big old 5-bedroom, 4-bath house. And move to the house that we want to be in with the master suite, everything on the main floor, zero entry, all that sort of thing. There are millions of people. I'm just a farm kid from Wisconsin who never went to college, and I figured this out. There's a whole bunch of people that should figure this out because it's not that complicated.
Now, this product needs to get to a lot more people. I could see it applying so many people, simplifying, improving them. And some of the buyers, I'll even say in traditional purchases, area there with the 3% category, are worried about commitment. And enough of them are like, well, there may be an opportunity to refinance in the future. If I'm wrong, but the same would apply to a reverse mortgage. Could you go back and refi?
Absolutely. You can refinance if the rates change. You can refinance if the PLFs change, the terms change. And if you don't want to refinance, people say, well, how long is the term of this mortgage? Well, mine is good until I'm 150. That's a 90-year mortgage. So if I don't want to refinance, I don't have to, but I can refinance whenever I want. Move, get another reverse mortgage somewhere else. Some of my clients are on their 4th reverse mortgage because they move, follow kids, refinanced, whatever. It's just like any other mortgage. You just refinance it and pay it off.
So this product is as flexible as any other. Weighted to the property. You still have lots of options and mobility.
In fact, I'd call it more flexible because how many mortgages give you permanent forbearance on your payment? Make a payment if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I mean, that is pure security and control, because if I want to create equity, I can pay my mortgage down, pull the money back out if I need it. I never have to make a payment, use the money to have fun with, use the money to invest. So I've got complete control over that, where somebody that gets a 30-year mortgage or a 15-year mortgage is a slave to that payment every first of the month. And that's fine if you're a 30, 40-year-old. You're a 60, 70-year-old. Why on earth do you want a payment? I mean, I've done that for 40 years. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done with it. I'm privileged. I'm a protected class now. I'm over 62. And in Minnesota, you can only do over 62. In California and a lot of other states, you can go all the way down to 55 because we have proprietary products that are available. And so you can start early on the process if you want to retire early.
And that's what I had heard, 55 in California. And that's very exciting. Yeah, it's great. And I'm making some assumptions here, but they seem pretty basic, and you guys have a great product. For 55 and their home's worth $1 million. In 20 years, they're still doing good.
Well, that's the thing.
$2 million.
Exactly. That's the thing that we have to be very aware of, is that there's complete protection. These are what are called non-recourse loans. And I know you guys understand that technical term being in the real estate business, but a lot of people don't. What a non-recourse loan is, for all of your listeners, is you never get the terms changed. And the terms of a reverse mortgage are that you can never go upside down, even if the real estate market crashes. So back in 2009, when my 94-year-old uncle died, one of my first clients, he was upside down in his house. Well, he wasn't, he was dead, but he didn't have to worry about it. But his heirs were not were upside down, but they really weren't, because FHA comes in, pays the difference. The investor does not ask for any money. And he still had $300,000 to pass on to his heirs on other investments that he had. But the upside down part, paid for by FHA, they walked away and did not have to pay a dime. In fact, they got a tax deduction when they sold the house on a short sale, because it's a guaranteed short sale from the beginning of the contract. When I signed my contract last year, it's got a guaranteed short sale clause that if it's upside down at the end, my kids can sell it for 95% of the value of the new value, regardless of how much I owe. There is no mortgage in the nation that guarantees that.
There is not. Absolutely. That's a great. So, I think that's good for B. Is there anything else you think is super relevant to some follow-up conversations?
Well, there is.
Okay.
The biggest thing, Darren, that I'd like to leave your audience with is, don't prejudge this thing and say, well, that would be great for somebody that doesn't have kids. That'd be great for somebody that's broke. That'd be great for somebody who can't afford to pay cash. That'd be great for my neighbor or for my uncle, but not for me. I mean, I'm in good shape. I don't need it yet. I was just talking to one of our loan officers in the East Coast, and he said, this really wouldn't be something that my mom and dad would need, because they've got their house paid off and they got plenty of money. I said, what's plenty of money? And he said, oh, they got almost 500,000. I said, well, just a minute. What happens if they end up being in a situation where they need long-term care? What happens if they need money to fix their roof, to take you guys on vacation, to have some fun with stuff? What if they want to give money to their church or their charity or to you guys? And all of a sudden you realize, this is something good for my parents. They don't have long-term care insurance. And my dad, in fact, has had a couple of back operations, and we're kind of concerned about mom taking care of him. So it is so easy to say that's for somebody else until you really start looking at it. So I'd encourage anybody that's listening is the big thing is Michael Joy, one of our loan officers that works in the area, would simply, for free, run through the scenario and say, this is what it would look like. That's all we did with this, with Joe and Becky down in Southern California, in the southern part of LA area. When they wanted to move to Palm Desert, we just went through their scenario, and they listed their house the next day. They said, oh, okay, well, we didn't realize that's how it worked. They didn't think it was for them. And when they realized they could buy the house in Palm Desert, they listed their house immediately to be able to buy that house in the 55 plus community. So don't prejudge yourself. This is open to everybody, and it's free. And sometimes what you don't know, everybody says what you don't know doesn't hurt you. What you don't know can really hurt you, especially when it comes to retirement. And we want to help people
like that.
To avoid that.
That should be the tagline. What you don't know can.
Applies to a lot of things. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. We really appreciate you coming on. I know took some timing and all, but we plan on continuing to talk about this product and reach in our areas that we serve to introduce it to more people. So we hope you're there to be a resource.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. We want to get the news out. I'm kind of partial to helping old people. At our company, we exist to love and value people. What I do is to love and value old people. So I joke because I'm an old person now, but anybody over 55, 60, we call old, and we help them have a better life, better retirement. And we just love doing that. It's not just a good business. It's just a great feeling. And I appreciate the opportunity to tell the story.
Well, thanks so much, Harlan. Take care. We'll speak with you soon.
Appreciate you.
Yep,
All right.
bye.
Take care. Bye.